Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Tonight we're back here with Josh Scorcher. Tonight's video is the top 10 games we love. Yeah, these are just games that should be bad, but for some reason, gamers love it. So, what type of games will we be seeing? Well, I'm waiting to know for sure. Let's hop in and see what we love. Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Let's go. I'll let you know if I played any of these games and what I thought of them, too. Let's go.
For most games out there, it's easy to see why people enjoy them. RPGs, experience an in-depth story as you become more and more powerful. Platformers, get through the level and get as many points as possible. Beat 'em, take a wild guess. Then you have these games. A non-gamer or even a casual gamer might be wondering why exactly people are so into them. Maybe they have a really bizarre concept that screams,
"Danger, Will Robinson, danger!"
that, or maybe they're part of a genre that's not exactly mainstream. While their appeal might not be immediately clear, these games still have dedicated fan bases, and I'm here to show you why. I'm going to be ranking these entries based off of how questionable they are on paper versus how surprisingly enjoyable they are to play.
And occasionally showing just how pitching them could have gone.
This should be good.
Some of them won't be pretty.
So, without further ado, let's jump in. These are the top 10 games people strangely love.
Yeah. AKA the games that should have failed but didn't. Here we go. What's up?
So, Mr. Scorcher, you have a game idea for me?
Yes, ma'am, I do. It's an action RPG with big boss battles.
Well.
Okay.
We're gonna make it insanely hard and make fun of the players for not being able to beat it.
What?
One of the biggest reasons that we play games is to overcome challenges. We like that rush we get from conquering something. That's why we're willing to go through crazy difficult super bosses just to get an achievement or bragging rights. Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and Bloodborne are usually collectively referred to as the Soulsborne games. While they definitely have different settings and plots, they're usually grouped like this due to their dark oppressive atmospheres and especially their shared brutal difficulty. The whole prepare to die slogan was not an exaggeration. One wrong move can and often does result in death, which is probably why the most likely cause of deaths in these games are due to simple impatience.
Needless to say, I struggle.
In those games, there's usually a handful of strategies to let you cheese your way through. While Soulsborne games definitely have overpowered spells and items, you still need to carefully study and react to your enemies. And this is also a major turnoff for many gamers. A lot of people play games to relax, be silly and mindless, or just to be entertained by a cool story. So with the crushing difficulty and oppressive atmosphere, many non-fans and more casual gamers may be wondering, what the heck is the appeal? Well, it's the same simple reason we like other stories. Victory over terrible odds. When you're constantly in a life or death struggle, the adrenaline is at an all-time high. Being able to see the worst that life can throw at you and kicking it in the nuts while flipping it off, the feeling of satisfaction you get when you finally beat that encounter is hard to find in other games. And for willing to get through all that pain to get there, I have nothing but respect for fans of this series. Just don't ask me to play alongside you.
Seriously though, you guys are masochists.
And proud of it.
Sounds about right. And proud of it. Number 9.
Okay, Mr. Scorcher, any other ideas?
What do you got this time?
Oh yes, you're gonna love this next one. I was thinking about some sort of a survival simulator.
Ooh, we can work with that. Maybe add a gritty, desolate ambiance.
Oh, there's none of that.
Pardon?
It's gonna be bright, colorful, very low resolution, and you're always looking for cake ingredients.
Pardon?
Minecraft?
Minecraft, aka Mojang's own personal Lego simulator. In this blocky little sandbox survival, you explore pixelated, colorful land and mine all the resources you can find to build your home, armor, and food. You can explore different environments.
Look out for the creepers and the mobs.
Farm your own resources, and even tame certain animals to be your own personal fur baby or bodyguard. Speaking of, every now and again, if you're in survival mode, you will encounter some animal or beastie that wants to take a chunk out of you. And sometimes demolish the hard work that you spend a good hour putting together, and now you gotta fix the foundation and start all over again. There's a reason this song exists, people.
Go to bed, you'll be alright. Don't mind at night.
Like a good
don't
some of
mind
the
at
games
night.
on this list, Minecraft's
boy.
popularity partly stems from social media users from Facebook, YouTube, and Reddit. Other than that, though, it actually stands pretty
creativity
well
you
on
can
its
do with
own.
it. Don't forget
the
that.
environment is immersive and expansive, so you'll get more than a few hours of fun out of one sitting alone. The graphics aren't exactly state-of-the-art, but they give the game its
that's the
own
point.
low-resolution charm with its simplicity. And you can't pretend that the Enderman and Creeper won't give you nightmares after a while. On top of that, Minecraft thrives on creativity, encouraging you to think outside the box when building your land or any survival gizmos you can come up with. People have made roller coasters, calculators, heck, there's even a library.
Heck, I've seen tutorials about how to make your own hot tub with working bubbles that turn on and off. You guys are nuts.
Having that all in mind,
That's
help
it.
this
The
little
creativity of
sandbox blow up
Minecraft
to a monumental
will be eternal.
franchise. This includes, but nowhere near limited to, third-party merchandising, spin-off titles from neighboring game companies, and even full-blown tributes on TV and YouTube. Unfortunately, there are still a few annoying elements like risking running into a beastie with your armor down, or how with a lot of the recipes, you have to figure them out on your own. Still, any longtime player can look
I think
past
depends
those
on the
little
game
nitpicks
play.
for arguably one of the most unique titles in both the survival and sandbox genres.
Can't go wrong there. Alright.
Okay, what do you have for me this time?
Katamari. She's like, the fuck
Security, check this man for drugs.
Yep, we're talking about
Probably.
this
What
one.
the-
If I told you that one of the best arcade-style games was a game where you play as an alien prince who has to clean up trash by rolling it into a giant ball because his alcoholic father destroyed the entire universe, you'd probably
Bro.
have me committed. But that is what the Katamari games, or mostly Katamari Damacy, are. You spend the whole series running around in a ball called a Katamari, and you have to roll up to an object in a certain time frame, or complete some other stupid task like rolling a snowball really big, or picking up the largest cow in a set. You're pretty much doing whatever your haughty
Or the
father
cow.
makes you do because he's a god and you are a 5mm prince. So why are these games loved?
I'm not even gonna ask how that works.
Not only that, but the style of the game is
Hey, we love
charming
weird
and
sometimes.
funny. Honestly, it's not a game you can take seriously in all of the best ways. The king is hilariously egotistical. The music goes well with each level and makes them a joy to go through. The more you play through the games, the more you're sucked into the charm, just as all the debris is sucked into the Katamari. The games have lost traction over the years as they go into a more mobile and less Western market. But we did get the remake of the original game in 2018 on the same day as Smash Ultimate, but we still got one, so we could see some traction in the future.
Funnily enough, this isn't the weirdest game on this list.
Really?
Yeah, you heard me. Buckle up.
And if Katamari Damacy is not the weirdest, yeah, I'm with Josh. You better buckle up. So, just covering bases, the From Souls games, the Minecraft, and then Katamari Damacy. Interesting start with 3, but if those aren't the weirdest, what is? Number 7? A Siege game?
Now hear me out on this one. What if we take Final Fantasy characters and cross them over with Disney characters in a needlessly overcomplicated story?
Seriously?
Welcome to Kingdom
That's
Hearts.
your big pitch? A half-baked crossover idea? Seriously, what can we do with that sort of...
Gee, I wonder what we could do with Disney's death grip on people's nostalgia as well as Weeaboo's love for anime characters.
Fair point.
Continue.
Yeah, try to pretend you didn't see this one coming. I've mentioned once or twice that I love this
kidding.
franchise to death, but even I gotta admit, being able to sell this idea had to have been a trying game. First of all, it's
Yeah,
a
and not to
crossover,
mention the
and
copyright
crossovers
issues,
can
too.
be a gamble to pull off well. Second, Disney and Square Enix? Really? Square Enix games tend to be a lot more serious in nature, and Disney films are a lot more friendly and whimsical, with the occasional heavy
Yeah.
moment.
I'm still struggling to figure out how this even happened. I mean, like, did one of Disney's big wigs meet a Final Fantasy guy in an elevator, and that's literally what happened.
Huh, an elevator pitch. Cool.
A literal elevator pitch.
They weirdly fit together. Right off the bat, you have the dazzling art style and beautiful music to draw you in. Once you get past that, you got the fun gameplay, the fantastic voice acting, most of which are reprisals or really convincing sound-alikes, and just the warm feeling of being able to explore some iconic worlds or ending up face to face with some familiar faces from both our childhood movies or one of our favorite RPGs. And the conflicting themes, Disney's whimsical charm with Final Fantasy's more serious tone, actually weirdly complement each other well, which is the best achievement any crossover can have. The more you delve into Kingdom Hearts' lore, the more you start to notice the franchise quickly becoming its own identity. It's neither purely a Disney tie-in or a Final Fantasy spin-off. It's both, but with a massive amount of depth that really makes it its own being. It helps that the focus is aimed more towards the new characters like Sora and the organization. You get a feel for Sora's determination to be the hero that the universe needs, and yet you can't help but sympathize with the baddie's own struggles and identity crises. Face it, even villains need a hug or a buddy to share some sea salt ice cream with sometimes. And as much as I love this franchise, I'm not gonna pretend it's perfect, because even the best games have their noticeable dents. The Disney levels are usually just rehashes of the movies they're based on, some of the boss fights are frustrating and broken, and trying to unpack the series' entire story and lore is like trying to find a needle in the Grand Canyon while blindfolded. But even that's not enough to scare away fans from arguably one of the biggest game series this century, and has kept it going for nearly 2 decades. With Kingdom Hearts 3 being probably the last major title in the series, we're not really sure where things will go from here, but we guarantee that the fascination and eagerness won't dissipate anytime soon.
And you'll never hear the end of it from me.
Great.
Never, ever,
forever, ever, ever. Awesome. All right, number 6.
You know what? I think I'll let Seinfeld pitch for this one.
It's about nothing. Right.
Apparently, some nut job named Will Wright decided to take a piece from George's book because that's essentially what we got for The Sims. It's hard to find anyone who hasn't at least heard of this franchise, so I'll keep it brief. It's a life simulator game where you create your own character and their family and basically live life. The character gets up, goes to work, or maybe doesn't, eats, cleans, sleeps, other basic functions that I can't really show unblurred, and almost burn your house down.
So essentially, they took real life, the thing we usually try to avoid when we want to play video games, and put it into a video game.
Yep, pretty much.
It's official. Escapism is dead, and EA Games is the box they buried it in.
You think a concept like this would be incredibly boring, right? Well, not really, because half the game's fun stems from the creative freedom they're gift wrapping to you. You can mold your characters into any kind of image that pops into your head. Your friends, yourself, even many of your favorite celebrities if you wanted. And your domicile? If you don't want to buy one of the pre-made houses, you can just design your own home and fill it with whatever wacky-tacky furniture catches your eye. Your only limitations are your imagination and your in-game bank account. Still, another thing to factor into Sims' popularity is the little comedy gems sprinkled throughout the game. From the broken English to the bizarre little tidbits and incidents, and the silly little character quirks, and the goldmine of humor known as the patch notes.
Sims can no longer try for baby.
3 little words really sum it all up. Grilled cheese aspiration.
We must all aspire to be grilled cheese. We must believe in the grilled cheese!
Adding to it, The Sims had expansion packs that really kept the fun going. One of the earliest packs can turn you into a wizard of all things, and another came with pets. Interactable animals that you can adopt, feed, and take care of. And they actually do helpful stuff around the house for you. Of course, the one thing that really helps the game stand out is how you get to play God. You have absolute control over these virtual people's lives and can make any absurd or boneheaded decision you want without actual real-world consequences. Just try to separate reality from fiction with that last bit. Heaven knows this game won't always do it for you, but it's worth it when they do.
And number 5. Can you imagine becoming to write Sims from real life?
That's a new game.
This is a brochure for farming.
Yeah, that's the whole game. The whole game is farming.
Farming? She's like,
the general idea of video games is to get away from real life, right? So why the heck are people paying to play farming simulators with varying levels of realism? At first glance, it's a real head scratcher. Look at it a little harder and you come across a universal truth. People love to be rewarded for their efforts.
Ooh, I got this one. Howdy, friendos. My name is Stuart, and I'm taking over for Josh for a few seconds in order to gush about one of my favorite games. By the way, we did a video together on Kefka on my channel asking what D&D alignment is, if you guys are interested. But anyway, on to farming games. In the case of farming games, that effort is the planting of their crops, taking care of their land, and being rewarded with a good harvest. The more rewarding the grind, the more people want to grind, and the longer people play the game, and the more they spend.
It's brilliant, I tell you. Genius, I say.
Probably the best thing about these farming games, like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon, is that story is completely optional. You can completely immerse yourself in the life of a simple farmer if you so desire, just tending to your crops, selling them at harvest time, or planting them again in spring. And it's more than just grinding and leveling a town. These farming games are meant to help the player feel a part of a greater community. In all of these games, your endings are not only judged on how good your farm is, but how well you befriend the townsfolk. In fact, in several Harvest Moon games, you get a game over if you don't get married within a certain amount of time, as if the game is saying, congratulations, you die alone. To get the best endings possible, you need to build a farm, join a community, and start a family. Just boiling these down to farming sims would be an insult. They're more of a lifestyle sim, just as valid as The Sims, or Second Life, or even...
Number 4? We have the Life Simulator, we have Farm Simulator.
Was rudely interrupted!
Yeesh.
This next one speaks for itself.
So the number 2 selling game this year, behind Call of Duty and above the frickin' Final Fantasy VII remake, is a life simulator where you create your own island, run it as mayor with several businesses, and all to pay off a mortgage from a Tanuki landlord. Well, besides the Tanuki, this sounds like real life. And why the heck would we want to play a game that reminds us of real life? Yeah, we just went through this with the farming games. It's the exact same reason. People like to be rewarded for their efforts. And, well, in Animal Crossing's case, it is a little more than that. Sure, you can create your village, run it as mayor, get a giant mortgage from that stupid Tanuki, go fishing, capture bugs, and grind radishes until your hands fall off, only to realize that you needed tournaments, and then you scream to the high heavens, hoping your god could come to save you. When you see Tom Nook starting to colonize heaven, then you realize you're always at his mercy.
I need to stop playing Animal Crossing before bed.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sorry, on point. The game is cute. Animal Crossing's charm and accessibility on top of the effort reward aspect is why people enjoy it and spend even more time into it than farming games. Look at New Horizons. It combines the best parts of Minecraft and farming games into one and makes them all cutesy and adorable, and I need to go play some more Animal Crossing after this. While farming games like Stardust Valley and Harvest Moon have more devoted characters and stories, Animal Crossing has this personality and charm and sense of responsibility that is not only relatable, but fun for all ages.
And in a way, makes it more accessible to the others, because, like, you don't have, like, with Animal Crossing, you're just living your life. With the other farming, there's storylines you try to follow, you know, in your own way. Animal Crossing, there's no story, just you do you. Which, in a way, makes sense. And first Kingdom Hearts, then 3 straight simulator games. Okay, what can I say? Interesting. But anyway, Final 3 coming up. Let's see who tops the list of the weird games we love.
Okay, Mr. Scorcher, what do you have for us this time? The last few were okay, but you really need to take this seriously.
A walking simulator by Hideo Kojima.
Death Stranding?
Get out.
What is Death Stranding is a question we've been asking ourselves since Hideo Kojima was able to escape the prison that is Konami and showed us the very first trailer of his new age. And then another trailer. Every time the Game Awards show up, make us even more confused. Honestly, even though the game came out last year, there are still a lot of questions on what the heck is this game? Kojima himself mentioned that this is a new genre of games based on the current idea of what genres are. There are a combination of shooter, RPG, action, and sandbox game elements here. Okay, so here's the premise. You play as a courier who travels across the post-apocalyptic United States to deliver supplies to isolated communities and create a centralized communication system between all of them. The reason everyone is isolated is that some mysterious invisible specters from the apocalyptic event are still in the wider area, and unless you have some special protection, you can be killed by them.
So, You play as a delivery guy because other people can't go outside due to invisible threats that might kill them if they aren't protected.
Yeesh.
2020!
Pretty much.
Yeah, let's not.
Pretty much does feel like
At the game's release, most people got the game just to see what it was, and when people actually played it, the response was usually
like,
I guess
Ugh.
this is a good game? But as time went on, people actually enjoyed the sporadic nature of it. It's a survival game at its very core, as you are not only managing the supply route, you need to manage your own character, making sure that you're well fed, hydrated, that your pack is tactically distributed, you've changed your boots, you're alert and ready for any enemies that might pop up, and this sounds remarkably like what being Marine Corps infantry is actually like. And I'm not the only one who's noticed this. Heck, the Spectres could be analogs for PTSD. Out of all of the games on this list,
Yeah, I mean,
Death
the dog
Stranding
tags
is
are
the
our main character.
weirdest and most confusing to get your head around, but that also makes it one of the most intriguing games too. Nowadays, the game has an entirely different meaning to those living in their own isolation. But even with the comparisons being made, this is still a good game, I think. Just maybe don't think about it as much as Kojima wants you to.
Yeah, I think it's just a game you just like don't think about it too hard. But
Dating sims are a pretty common genre
hi,
game,
dokie
even
dokie.
if it's a slightly looked down upon one. One might even say they're a dime a dozen. Now, some of these are well-spent dimes, like Katawa Shoujo or Clannad, but you get my point. However, there is one dating sim spoken of only in hushed whispers, for to speak of it too loudly is to invite the madness to burn your brains and sear your soul. This dating sim of legends is the kind of off-the-wall, lock-me-in-a-rubber-room insanity that blights the world only once in a generation.
It's a dating sim about birds. Not those birds.
Huh?
These birds.
You'd think this kind of
Pigeons?
idea would be dead on arrival. Isn't the point of dating sims to chat up beautiful guys and gals and sometimes go a bit further? Well, a few enterprising souls from either boredom or
okay.
madness decided to give Hatoful Boyfriend a shot. The world would never be the same again. Despite the avian nature of the conquest targets, Hatoful Boyfriend is surprisingly well written, temptingly dark, and even has a few gut punches. In a dating sim where your character is one of the last surviving humans in a school of sentient birds, if there ever was an object lesson on not judging a book by its cover, this is it. Is it perfect? No, not at all. Some of the twists are a bit predictable, and the bird puns would make MLP blush with shame. However, these are more nitpicks than anything else. When going through Hatoful Boyfriend, you get the feeling that
probably
people
pass.
really worked hard and put their best efforts into making this game good. For whatever logic-defying reason, this game was made with love. And that's more than enough to smooth over any minor imperfections in my book.
Alright, the mentions. So we missed out.
Katawa Shoujo, a dating sim made by 4chaners where all the girls have a physical disability. And it's done respectfully? Five
That's
Nights
the
at
first one,
Freddy's,
4chan.
mostly just jump scare after pointless jump scare, but the lore behind the series is surprisingly engaging.
That's
Brain
Matt
Age,
Cat.
whoever says video games can't challenge you mentally, tell that to Dr. Kawashima. Untitled Goose Game, a well-animated, stylish reminder that geese are a-holes. Golf with friends. Regular golf is frustrating enough, but now you get to play it virtually. In all seriousness, though,
And
it
golf
really
is
is a lot
better.
better with friends. Chibi Robo, can we just forget that Ziplash was ever a thing? Give Chibi Robo a break, guys! Spec Ops The Line, why do people like a game that makes you feel like a bad person? Because art, I guess.
Yep. Sounds right. And the #1 game we strangely love is
Okay, Mr. Scorcher, this is your last
Final Chance.
What do you
What
have
do you
for
got?
me now?
Okay, you're gonna love this.
Or that
So
before?
you know escort missions, right?
Yes, I
Yeah?
know that most of the general population believe that they suck.
What if that was the whole game?
Get out of here.
Seriously, how did a game that is literally one giant escort mission manage to not suck? This was in the early 2000s too, way before we got good escort companions like in BioShock Infinite or The Last of Us. So how? Well, you would think because your escort companion would be good, right? Nope, he has no AI properties and is only controlled through your actions. So why is this game highly acclaimed? Well, a big factor of it is the puzzle. Echo isn't your normal escort mission. While there are enemies, they don't damage your character. The only way to
damage
lose
her.
is when your companion Yarda is taken in by the shadow creatures or when you fall into an endless pit. You can disable the shadow creatures by hitting them when they have Yarda, and that's about it. The rest of the game, you're trying to get yourself and Yarda out of the castle. Both Aiko and Yarda have special limitations, and you need Yarda to get through certain doors, so you spend the time trying to get the both of you through the castle's many puzzles. Since there isn't any major time constraint or pressure from other enemies, you can take your time trying to sort through the puzzles, all the while admiring the non-vocal communication between Yarda and Aiko. Yes, if you leave Yarda alone for a while, those shadow creatures will pop their heads in. Then they'll say, "I see you left your companion behind. Wouldn't it be a shame if we absorbed her into our essence?" But as long as you're smart with where you leave her, you can get back to her quickly. I think Aiko perfectly shows why people strangely love these games and why we think they're weird. You see a concept like Aiko and you're nearly 100% sure the game is going to be bad. But then you actually play the game and you're sucked into the game's atmosphere, story, and puzzle design, and you love it. The lesson we can all learn from each game on this list is don't judge a game by its cover, especially and literally Aiko.
I'm the Fiery Joker, and I just got a proposal for The Last of Us 2. You can tell this was written a while ago. Alright, let's take a look-see. Maybe it's as good as the first?
No. Uh-oh. We're all doomed, aren't we? Yeah? Yep, flushed it down the toilet. Never good. And there you go. The 10 games we strangely love. What do you guys think? You guys actually play these games? Which, for some, come on. And again, if you heard this in a pitch, you'd be like, no one's gonna play that. But gamers love weird things sometimes. Anyway, until next time, like, subscribe for more. See ya!